Okay, so the double turkey. For these problems, let me get the pencil here. Okay, so number one, it is arrange the numbers in order from least to greatest. So my question is least to greatest. My facts will be all these numbers. Since I know that I'm going to put them in order, I know I'm going to need a table. So in my facts, might as well make the table. The one that I call my money table. We put the original values the way they were given on the left side, and the decimals on the right side, which that's what I call my money. Okay. I prefer, if you can, to put all your decimals that are negatives first, or your fractions that are negatives, because I want to group them. So the 4826 is not negative. The negative 38 is, so I'm going to put him next. The negative 1 and 6/10 is also. And that's it. Those are the three negative numbers. Now I'm going to put the positive. We have 48 over 26. And we have 32 over 52. Now decimals, I want them like money. So money stops in the 100th place. We know that we need 100 pennies to make $1. So that's why we go 10th, 100th. So this one would be negative 50 cents. 3/8. I'm going to go to the side. Top in, bottom out. 3, that's not enough. I would add a 0. We have 30 now. 8 times what gives me 30? Well, the closest I can get is to times 3, which is 24. That'll be 6. The remainder, we add a 0. We have 16 now, so 8 times what? 7 would be the closest. That's a 4, by the way. Let me fix it. We add a 0, right? We drop another 0. Now we're in this place value 5. So I like to stop in the thousands place, 10, 100, thousands. But since it's money, I'm just going to think about that part, 37 cents. So this would be negative 37 cents. Then the next one, that dollar is already $1, so I'm going to get negative $1. That's ready. Now 6/10, I can bottom out also. 6 divided by 10. Not enough. Add a 0 times 6 is 60. So we know it's 0.6. Now you see that 0, that's already the 1 here, the negative $1 already took place of that 0. So we don't add a 0 here. That's a mistake the kids do. It's point. Here's your point. And what comes after the point? A 6. So I'm going to put a 6. Now I can add a 0 here, which would be negative $1.60. So the next one is 48 divided by 26. Now, when the top number is bigger, guys, you know it's improper. And when it's in improper fraction, you will have whole numbers. You will have dollars. So in this case, it'll be times 1. 8 minus 6 would be 2. 4 minus 2 would be 2. Drop a 0. We have 220 now. Now I'm going to have to guess and check, right? I'm going to have to say, let me try 26 times. We take a guess. Whatever you think it's close. Now, I know if I do times 10 is 260. But we have to do it in single digits. So I think 8 would be maybe a good guess. 8 times 2 16 plus 4 is 20. And you can see that 8 was pretty good. So 8 is 208. Can do that. And we have 12 left over. 20 minus 8 is 12. Drop another 0. 120. Again, I'm going to guess. Well, I'm going to guess 5. Let's see what happens with 5. That's 30. 10 plus 3, 13. So it went a little bit over, so it must be 4. 24, 8, 10, 1, and 4. 4 it is. And now this becomes 10, 1, that's 16. Drop a 0. And you see that 5? Maybe it might work for that. Or we should try 6, just in case. 36, 12, 15. That's much better. And I told you before that once you get to the 1,000, you can stop. By the way, this is a 6. Okay. Now I know that this guy would be $1.84. So right here. Okay. Then we'll do 32 divided by 52. Now if you notice the top number is smaller, it's proper. You should not have any holes. You should not have any holes. Add a 0, that's 320. Again, I'm gonna take a guess. I'm gonna guess right here on the bottom. 52 times, I'll say 6. 12, 31. It went over. It must be 5. 10, 25, 26, 260. So it is 5, 260. This becomes 12, this becomes 2, this becomes 60. Drop a 0, we have 6. Hold on, I miscalculated there. Let me go back. See, I'm rushing. Okay. Oh, 6 would have worked. Now that I look at it. Okay. 6 is okay, it's below 320, my bad. 20 minus 12 would be 8. Drop a 0. Times 1 would be 52. That would be 2, 8. Drop another 0. 280. Well, maybe the 5, let's see, 25. Yep, the 5 would have worked out here. 5. So this one is 0.615. So now that everything is like money, we have here, oh, I don't really need that 5. There we go. Now we have negative 50 cents, negative 37 cents, negative $1.60, $1.84, 61 cents. Now that we have, I'm gonna get rid of this now. Okay. What's not letting me erase? The reason I want to get rid of this is so I can draw the number line for you. Okay. So I guess I'll be able to draw it right here. Because I don't know why it's kind of like glitching. Okay, so I'm gonna draw it right here. Now this is my G. This would be my L. This will help you that this symbol is called a less than, and this symbol here is a greater than, the little g. Now, I'm going to put my zeros in the middle because we have negatives and positives. I like to begin with the positive, which are these. If I was counting 0, 1, 2, 3, or 0, 5 cents, 10 cents, 61 cents will come out first, which is 32 out of 52, the original. I put both of them, you'll see why in a minute. Okay? After that one, so we can put a check and say we already put you. $1.84 would pop out next. $1.84. And that is 48 out of 26. Now I'm going to go to the negative row. Always starting at 0. If I start going 0, 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents, this guy will come out first, which is negative 37 cents. Right there, I put a decimal right there. And of course that would be negative 3/8. After 37 cents, 50 cents would come out. So negative 0.50. You put the 0 you want in the front. I forgot to put it here. That would be negative 0.507, the original. And finally, we have negative $1.60. And the original was negative 1 6/10. Now, the reason I like to put both is because I'm going to go from least to greatest. So I'm going from the L to the G. I can now start dragging and dropping. The least is this guy. The next least is negative 507 thousandths. The next least is negative 3/8. The next least is 32 out of 52. And the greatest of them all is 48 out of 52. So that's what I expect when they want you to put them in order, make what I call my money table. The original values and decimals looking like money. So I can quickly place them on a number line. And then if they want least to greatest, we go L to G. Now if they would want greatest to least, I would start from this side. First, I would drag him. Second, third, fourth, and last. Greatest to least. But this one is least to greatest. Okay? Now, I do want to talk to you about also possibly just looking at, thinking logically. Okay? Thinking just in a logical way. No, it's not even going to be released. But let me tell you what I mean. If we think of this as money, let's look at the negatives. I know that this is already negative $1. So I know he owes the most money because this is less than $1, it's 50 cents. And this one is less than $1 because it's 3 out of 8, so it's not a full dollar. So automatically, just by me thinking that way, I know that if I owe the most, I will be the least. Now between these two, this is without the kid that doesn't want to do all this, which I don't recommend you do this, but you can. This kid is saying, well, this is 50 cents, and 3/8 is less than 50 cents. Because like in class, one of you quickly mentions, whichever of you mentioned, 50 cents would have to have a 4 on top. 4 out of 8 would be half of it, right? Half of 8 is 4. So I know that this is less than 50 cents. So I know that he is less than 50 cents. So he would be next because he owes more money than him. This guy, as we saw, it's really 37 cents. So that's why I was saying that he's less than 57 cents. Now the last two are your positive numbers. Remember that the negative world works this way. The more you owe, the lesser you are. The less you owe, the greater you are. So since he's the one that owes the most, he's the least. He's the one that owes the next most, he's the next least. And then he's the one that owes the less of the negative, so he's the greatest. Okay? That's why he's more to the right on the number line. On the right side, we have our positive world. Well, if it's an improper fraction, which means that the top number is bigger than the bottom, that means that you will have whole numbers. You have dollars. If it's a proper fraction, the top number is less than the bottom, that means that you don't have wholes. So he would be the least, no wholes, and this guy would have wholes. He'll be the most. So you can think that way too. Anyway, the way I did number one, try by yourself number two. Same scenario, the one least to greatest. Try it out. This will be part of your final exam. So, next question. The next question is number 3. It says, in Jada's class, 7/8 of the students have blue eyes, which values are equivalent to 7/8. So we have a fraction 7/8. So let me start here. Remember, I want my process. I'm going to do it here. You're supposed to be doing this in your new journal that I am going to be cutting up. So this is for number 3. Not for this problem. It's for this problem over here. Okay? But I need the space for you all. So number 3, they want to know who's equivalent. The facts. We have a fraction of 7/8. That means that the strategy is going to be, we're going from a fraction to a decimal, because I see decimals there, but we're also going to go to a percent, because I see percents there. So let's begin with a fraction into decimal. Again, what we do, we divide 7 divided by 8. 7 is not enough. 70 is, we can use our times table chart, and it's going to be 8 times 8 is 64. 70 minus 64 would be 6. Drop a 0. Now we have 60. Times 7 is 56. That's a 4, sorry, that you can't really see. Now it'll be 40, and times 5 would be 40. Now you know that 7/8 is 0.875. So I have found the first answer, so I can actually come and drag and drop that one there. Now to go from decimal to percent, we move twice to the right, because percent means out of 100. So I'm going to go 1, 2, so it would be 87 point, the decimal moved twice to the right, percent, which is the other possible answer. And that's the way you do this. Going from fraction to decimal, we divide. Going from decimal to percent, we move twice to the right. 10th, 100th, because percent means out of 100th. Pretty simple. Let me get rid of this so I can do number 5. And since this is for number 3, I need to get rid of all this, and the eraser is not being nice to me at all. Now it's being nice. Okay, now it's being a little bit more nice. Okay, there we go. Now here. Okay. Anyway, the way I did number 3, you're going to do number 4. This one is about Olivia's class. 5'8", have brown eyes. So again, they want you to change it to fraction, to decimal percent. Fraction is percent. So now I'm going to do number 5. This time, this is for number 5, guys. Number 5, select two that are correct. So they want you to get 2 that are correct. That's the question. Facts. 3 dogs for every 5 cats. I already told you whenever you see the word for every, the word to, the word in, the word per, the word in, the word per, to, in, per, or when you see colons, that means it's a ratio, which I can set up a proportion. This ratio would be 3 to 5, which is dogs to cats. So on the top is going to be dogs, and the bottom is cats. But that's all they have for the facts. Because of that, I'm going to have to use the choices. Now, my first thing to try to see is if the ratio is going from small to big. And it is small to big, or is it going from big to small? In this case, there's less dogs than cats. So here we have less dogs than cats, yes. Here we have less dogs than cats, no, we have more dogs than cats. So you know that this is not a good ratio for this situation. It's not proportional because this is from big to small and it should have been small to big. So that leaves you now with 1, 2, 3, 4. A 50-50 chance of getting it right because you have to select 2. Now my next thing to do is decide which one am I going to do first. Well, I like to work with smaller numbers. So I'm going to try this one first. The 6 will go on the top because the dogs is on the top. It's a dogs to cats ratio. 15 on the bottom. And here we go. 5 times 6 would be 30. 15 times 3. You can go to the side. 15 times 3. 45. That is not proportional. So this is not a possible representation of the dogs and cats in the events. Now we have 3. So now our chances of getting the right answer is better. So I'm going to write the next one. 3 to 5 again, because that's what they gave me in the facts. Dogs to cats. Now I'm going to try, I guess this guy, because those are pretty easy numbers to multiply. So 90 will be on the top, 100 on the bottom. 100 times 3 would be 300. 90 times 5, if you're not sure, we go to the side. 90 times 5, 0, and 45, that would be 450. And guess what? Those are not proportional, so letter D is also out. Now think about this. You already eliminated 3 of them, and the only thing that's left is 2 choices. That means that those might be my choices, so I can actually go and click on them already and select them as my 2 choices. Okay? Oops. Of course, if you have the time, if you're taking the start test, or if it's a benchmark, the final exam, it would be a smart idea just to make sure to go and check the last 2. I'm just going to check 1 for purposes of time, but I would definitely probably check both of them just to make sure I did not miscalculate the other 3 that I already removed. Well, this one is dumb because it's big to small. So let me try the 120 over 200. 120 over 200. It doesn't matter which one I'm going to try first. I chose this one again because I like those zeros at the end. Makes it easier. 200 times 3 would be 200 times 3 would be 600. 5 times 120. Well, I can see that 5 times 12 is there. That would be 60. And then we add a 0. And boom. So now I know for sure that choice A is good. Now I can go and try the same thing with choice C just to verify. 184, I'm sorry, over 120, 140, my bad. And you do the same thing. I'm not going to do it, but that's the way you do number 5. The way you do number 5, you can go and try number 6. Yours is about for every 7 student volunteers, there are 4 adult volunteers. So there's some students that are volunteering, but there's also adults. The ratio is going to be 7 to 4, big to small. So I can start checking anything that's small to big, probably get rid of it quickly. That's the way you do that. Number 3. We did this a lot in class today. I'm going to review, okay? I'm going to review quickly using a highlighter, just the little pink one. And I'm just going to review how to graph points on a coordinate grid. So let me just put, let's say we have -3, 5. Your first job is to understand that this is the x and this is the y. That's your first job. The x is this axis. It goes either to the left or it goes to the right. The y would be this axis. Right? This is the y. It goes either up or down. Now, so I tell the kids, the x, draw this to remind you that he would go left or right. The y, draw this to remind you that he would go up or what? Down. Always beginning at the origin. Okay? Now let me show you. You would do the overlay that I taught you today that the star has, the grab and draw feature. We press that icon and then we're going to have an overlay on top of this so we can actually draw. So I'm going to choose a highlighter for purposes of visual. Here's where the origin is, and we're going to move 3 to the left because it's negative. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Now that point is not there yet. That was just the x-axis. Then once you move 3 to the left, which is the x, now we have to go up 5 because it's positives. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. Now at that moment, that's where I would put my point. And now that I know that the point belongs there, I can close the overlay, the little graph and draw feature. It'll be blank and get now the point and put it where it belongs, which it belongs there. Okay? Now remember, this thing is not going to be here. This is not going to be there. So when you actually graph, it will look like this. -3, +5. It will be right there. And there's your point. This is just practicing. This is not the answer. I'm just practicing with you. Let me remove this. And let's try another one. Let's say that you have x is, let me get a pen. X is 2, -2, let's do -2. And y is -3. This x moves left or right. This one moves up or down. Starting from the origin right here, I'm going to move twice to the left. 1, 2. Why to the left? Because it's negative. Then I'm going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Right here's my point. Once you find your point, you're going to close the overlay and go ahead and with the computer just press the button and it'll tell you. So let me get rid of this. You can see with the computer, I would press the button and there it is. -2, -3. Okay? And that's the way you do that. Let me get rid of all this so we can put the actual question. question. Taking forever. Okay. Let's go to the actual story. Let me get rid of this point because it's not going to be the point. So let's go to the actual story. So here it says select 2 points. So that would be my question. You do have to do this in your paper as my strategy. Number 7. They want me to select 2 points. Select 2 points. That's the question. That's what they want. Facts. They gave me the order pair -3, -4. And then they told me to extend the line segment 10 units up. So we're going to go 10 units up. So we're going to graph the point and then go 10 units up. As work, I'm going to copy what they gave me, -3. What else did they give me? -4. I'm going to say that this goes left and right. This goes up and down. X always goes first, then Y. Okay. Get rid of this. We use the highlighter again to demonstrate. -3, -4. So -3, -1, -2, -3. Then -4. 1, 2, 3. I know -4 goes down, right? I almost messed up. -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there. Can get my pencil now. And there's the point. Okay. So I already found the point. -3, -4. So now I can get the computer and click on it, and now I found it. So we can get rid of this for now so you can see better. Get rid of the highlighting part. Get rid of that part. So it was -3, -4 right there. Oops, right there. You can check -1, -2, -3, which is X, and then down -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you always go to the left or to the right, and then we can go up and down and then put the point. So we already found the point that one, but then they told us that we need to go 10 units up. So I can actually get my pencil and start counting. 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5 units, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right here should be the other point. It should be at -3, +6. Can get my computer, click on it, and get rid of that so you can see, and it'll be there. So I first plotted the point, and then I counted 10 units up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom. That's how you do this. Now sometimes a line will pop out. Okay, like the one you have to do by yourself is this one. You're going to find this point and we're going to go 5 units up. When you do this one, let's say that you graph it here and then you see how the line pops out? Then we have to go 10 units up. So just start going 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this one says 5 units, so it'll be right there. This is not the answer, it's just a fake example. And once you graph, you could actually move 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, and then go 1, 2, 3, stop, and then they wanted 5 units up. So I can go here, 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're done. Okay. Now this is your work. You're gonna try it on the computer. The question would be select 2 points again. The facts would be 4, 3, X and Y. They're positive, so I'm going to the right and up. Then 5 units up again to get the other point. Pretty simple. Next one we have another one of these graphs, but now they want me to create a right triangle, and the height of the triangle has to be 5 units. Which order pair could represent? So I can, okay, well, let's check it out. So we have 4, -3. So I'm going to get my pencil again, 4, -3. And I'm going to start going. Positive 4 will be to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, right there. -3 would be down. 1, 2, 3. My point is there. Now we can get the other tool that I talked about, which is a connector tool. And we're going to see we can create a triangle with this. Well, if I connect here to these 3 points, that does not create a triangle, it creates just a line. So now I know that choice A is not a good one. Okay? That's being mean. Okay. Next one is 1, 2. So I reset my little overlay. Remember when we put in that overlay that I taught you, the graph and draw overlay? Reset it, get the drawing tool, and then we're going to start from the origin from 0. I'm going to go 1, because x is 1. You see the x is right there, 1. And then up to 1, 2. There's your point. And then I'm going to get my connector tool so I can create the triangle. So here's the connection there, the connection there. And I could already see that we do have a right angle right here. So that's a right triangle. So choice B looks good. But then they said that the height has to be 5 units. So the height would be this side right here. So I'm going to go and check 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, 4 units, 5. So guess what? Choice B looks fantastic. We reset the overlay. Let me just get rid of all this. Okay, now we're going to graph -2, +5. Starting from the origin, which is 0, 0. I'm going to go -2, which is going to be 1, 2. We always travel left or right, and then we can go up and down. So right now I'm at -2 right here. Then I'm going to go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here's my point that order pair. I'm graphing it right here at this point. Get your connector tool and connect some dots to create a possible right triangle. And guess what? We did it again. This is a right triangle. So do we have 2 answers? No, because they want it to be 5 units high. So if we think here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're already there, and it's continuous. 6, 7, 8. So this guy is an 8 unit tall, has a height of 8 units. So that's why letter C is wrong. It was good because it was a right triangle, but it did not have the height. It went over 3. Okay? So that's why choice C is wrong. So B is still working out for us. Okay, I found a little bit better way to erase. Okay. The last one we have 6, -1. So starting from the origin. +6 is to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. -1 is down. Only 1. So here it is. You could tell it's not going to be a right triangle, but it is a triangle at least. Just some kids are claiming it's not, but look. If I connect to that point and we connect to the other point, we do have a triangle, but this would be an obtuse triangle. You see that angle S right here is really opening. That's obtuse. So it's an obtuse triangle. So we were looking for right triangles, not obtuse. It says here, right triangle right there, right triangle. So that's why letter D is wrong. So the final answer obviously would be choice B. So this guy is wrong also. Get my little cursor and select choice B as that one that creates the right triangle. The way the number 5, well, number 9, I'm sorry. I'm going to go and do number 10. Next we have number 11. Number 11, we're going to be talking about absolute value. Okay? Absolute value is how far you're from 0. For example, he's 10 away from 0. This one. The 20 is 20 away from 0. 10, 20. That's the absolute value. So the absolute value of 10 would be 10. The absolute value of 20 would be 20. Let me do one more positive. This one is 30 away from 0. So the absolute value of 30 is 30. It's 10, 20, 30 away. So absolute value means how far you're from 0. The distance from 0 to that number is the absolute value. Now I want you to pay attention to this. If I go to the negative row, it works the same way. How far is negative 10 from 0? 10. How far is negative 20 from 0? Negative 20. How far is negative 30 from 0? 30. I'm sorry, I said negative. It's not. Absolute value is never negative. Since it's the distance, it's always positive. So negative 10, the absolute value of negative 10 would be 10. The absolute value of negative 20 would be 20. The absolute value of negative 30 would be 30. So that's how absolute value works. It's basically the distance you are from 0. So if we look at this question, number 11, here's how we put it on my paper, number 11. They want the greatest absolute value. And once you see the word absolute, we better think of distance from 0. So let me start with point R. Greatest absolute value. So the absolute value of point R would be 10, 20, 30. So his absolute value is worth 30. Point S, the absolute value of point S is 10, 20. His absolute value is worth 20. How far you're from 0, remember. Point T, the absolute value of T is 0. So it's there already. And point U, what's the absolute value? 10, 20. They want you to find out who has the greatest absolute value. Who's the farthest from 0? Well, he's 20 away. He's 0, so he's already there. He's 20, and it's 30. So the highest absolute value would be 30. The greatest absolute value would be 30 because he's the farthest from 0. And that's the way absolute value works. A lot of kids get confused with values. Many kids would think that this guy has this guy has the greatest value, yes, but not absolute value. Value is how much he's worth. He's worth $20. That's why he's the greatest value. But the question wants greatest what? Absolute value. So absolute is how far you're from 0. That's what absolute value means. The distance, a number to 0. Okay, let me erase something I hate. Okay, let's get rid of all this junk. So again, the greatest absolute value means how far you're from 0, who's the farthest away. Okay? I'm just going to quickly practice with you some of them. They're not clear, but I'm just going to practice with you quickly. So let's use a highlighter. Let's say that we have this guy against, let's change color, against this one. If I wanted the greatest value, 30 would be the greatest value. But since I want the greatest absolute value, it is actually negative 50. Why? Because he's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. He's that far away from 0. This one, let me change the color so you can see it, is 10, 20, 30. You can see that the distance is smaller than this distance. So this 50 is the one that has the greatest absolute value, even though the 30 has the greatest value because he's worth more. But absolute means how far you're from 0. Let me do another one. Let's say that we're checking negative 10 against positive 40. So the distance from 10 to 0 is 10. The distance from 40 to 0 is 10, 20, 30, 40. So 40 has the greatest absolute value. Okay? But 40 also has the greatest value because he is the bigger number. But remember, absolute value is real simple. How far are you from 0? Last one. And I think that you get it, I hope. So let's say that I have, which is blue, that one, that one, and that one. Okay. The greatest absolute value would be who's the farthest from 0. So if we check, let's do it by color coding it. Let's start with purple. No, that wasn't purple. This one was purple. See, that's 10, 20, 30, 40. So there's his bar 40 away. Let's now go with the blue. I think I chose this one. No, I chose that one, I guess. 10, 20, 30, 40. So the absolute value of 40 positive is 40. The absolute value of negative 40 is also 40. Because since they're opposites, they have the same distance. So none of them would be the answer. Because we have this guy. This guy is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Look at his bar. Way bigger. So he has the greatest absolute value. His absolute value is 60. It's 60 away. These were just 40 away. So okay, so that's the way you work with greatest absolute value. Basically, whomever has the greatest absolute value is whomever's farthest from 0. Okay. The way I did number 11, you're gonna try number 12. So those are all the questions for this weekend. I think they're pretty easy. Now, just in case some of you are still confused with some, because I know that some of you were asking me about these, I'm gonna quickly do a quick review on the first turkey. This one you're gonna go length times width times height. So you're gonna multiply 5.5 times 7 times 1. Okay. This one, when I use the math chart, we're gonna go from gallons to quarts, from quarts to pints, from pints to cups. So 3 proportions. I already told you that when you have a colon, those little 2 dots, that's a ratio. The word 2 tells you he comes first, he comes second, so it's a 4 to 6. I'm going to do a proportion, solve it algebraically. I am dividing. I'm going to talk about this one because that's the one that kids were kind of worried. So I'm going to do this one again. So here's a free answer. Here's a free answer for you all. I get the pencil. And right there. Okay, that's a little bit better. Okay, so number 8. This one, they want the height. They want the height. The facts is that it's a right rectangular prism with a square base. So we're working with a prism, rectangular prism, but most importantly, it has a square base. That means that the base, which is this guy on the bottom, all this on the bottom, that means that if this side in the front is 4, which is called the length, this would be the length, then this one, which is the width, since it's a square base, it'll be 4. So length and width will be 4. Now the height, I do not know what the height is, so I'm going to call it x. The volume is 224 cubic units. The strategy will be WTF, write the formula. In the math chart, the formula says V equals capital BH. Now, capital B, I already told you that's the area of the base. In 6th grade, the area of the base would be length times width. Because it's a rectangular prism. In this case, it's a square prism, which is still the same thing. It's a rectangular prism, square prism, cubes. I can use the big B being length times width, which in this case will be 4 by 4 because it was a square. Then times the height, which we're going to call x because we don't know how much it's worth. Now the length and the width, we do know it's worth 4 times 4. I like to put in parentheses so to remind myself that this is the big B, the area of the base, which is this. And when the area of the base and then times the height to get the volume. The x is going to come down. Now at this moment, that V, we did know that the V was 224, so I can go ahead and go 224 equals 4 times 4, 16 times x, 16x. Now I told you in class that I prefer having my variables on the left side, so I'm going to swap them because equal allows me to swap this side over here and this side to the other side. And now we're back to a regular algebraic equation that we know how to use. We use sat m for this. Some of you don't even use sat m anymore because you already know what to do, but to remind you, a number next to a letter means multiply. So we will divided by 16, divided by 16. This cancels, x equals, I bottom out that, and I should find the answer, which I'm not going to do that part, so you can at least go and practice how to divide that. But that's how you do number 8, those kids that were having trouble with that. I think somebody also told me that they had trouble with, well, you know what, let's talk about this one, because some of you, I tricked you. So we see the little code in there, so I know it's a ratio, so I'm going to go 3 to 4 inches, feet. Now this is 40 feet, so he would be on the bottom, and this would be x. Now, many of you will get confused, but I told you to start it off. 4 times x, that's 4x. At least start it off. If you look at this one, it has 40 times x, so that's why that's dumb. This one has 3 times x, that's also dumb. This guy has 4 times x, that's good. This guy has 4 times x, that's good. Now, 3 times 40. Well, 3 times 40. Check again. 4 times 40. Out. The answer should have been D. Okay? This little eraser is so annoying. Anyway, let me put it back. I do want to show you something. If you really look at it, here we have 3/4, and there it is. Here we have x40, and there it is. They just swapped them. Okay, so that one was the answer. Some of you just went with 4 times x, and you saw 4 times x, and you chose this one without checking the all. We have to check them all, guys. Okay? And finally, this one, we're going from decimal to fraction. I already told you that when we go from decimal to fraction, we do need a place value chart. 0.04. This is 10th. This is 100th. So that would be 400th. I already know that means that, you see how it has a 4? It should have 100 there, so that's wrong. It has a 4, it should have 100 on the bottom, so that's wrong. So it's one of those two. If you simplify by 2, that'll be 250. It's still not there, but you simplify again by 2, that'll be 125, and that's the answer. You could also go like this, 4 out of 100. We get rid of the dumb ones, which are these two, and put this one as a proportion. 100 times 1 would be 100. 25 times 4 would be 100, and you see that they're equal. Okay? I'm gonna go over just in case. By the way, this video, like in case you're like wondering, like if you really want to watch the whole video of the single turkey, it is in the classroom, guys. The one that I'm making right now is for the double turkey. So if I go to my first period classwork, there's the single turkey. It's right there, the video. I'm just going over in case again, but the video is there for all the other problems. So if I click here, it'll take you to the video, and I explain everything. This also, I explain the bottom part, see? And then we go times the height, which is the height. I'm explaining everything there. And then I'm explaining that also. You see, I'm doing the proportions here, so in case Then I do this guy, Kellogg's with Cheerios. So everything is there for you. Okay, all the way to the end. I talk about that. The place value chart. That's just the. I talk about the what I just did with you. So all that video is there. Now the one that's for homework for the weekend is this guy, which is the one I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna release it as soon as I'm done, which I'm done right now. I'm gonna go ahead and stop it. Don't forget to um, subscribe, like, and ring the bell. I'm just kidding. Make sure you comment. Make sure you comment. Make sure you watch the video and you practice. By Monday, we're going to go over this homework. We're going to go over both homeworks. That will be your last time to review. Then on Tuesday, you're going to take a test. Like I said, you're not going to know everything on that test, but let's at least get the ones from the turkey correct. Finally, one more thing. Okay, last thing. This I had barely started. Come on, don't do this to me now. Okay. This is, I barely had started this, okay? So I want to just quickly go over some simple ones. So, so remember that the whole numbers are the first ones, and they have to be all positives. So they have all negatives, so that's why this is dumb already. The ones that should have been in the first one, in the first circle, should have been 4, 16, and 38. So J is out. Next one. Remember that we should have wholes, integers, and rationals. So the circles are right. Wholes, integers, and rationals. Now in the wholes, we should have all positive numbers. 38, no pieces. Nothing that falls between 4, 16, that checks. In the integers, they should be all with a negative symbol. -3, but complete. Nothing that falls between. That's complete, that's complete. Check. In the rational, that's where you should have your pieces. Here we can have positive and negatives. So 0.5 will fall between 1 and 2. 0 and 1, my bad. That's good. 1/4 would fall between 0 and 1 again. -2/3 will fall between -2 and 3. It has pieces that has that 0.3, so that's good. So choice K is good. They're all in the right place. Choice L, again, it's wholes, integers, rational. Positive, positive, positive. Check. Oh, it has pieces. It's pieces. It's pieces. Wrong. Wholes, integers, rational. So the circles are the Venn diagram is correctly labeled, but we have negatives already, so that's not good. Oh, that's how you do those. Let's try another one. Wholes, integers, rational. Good, good, good. Bad, bad. These are rational numbers. they fall 6.2 falls between 6 and 7 in the number line. That's why he's rational. He can become a fraction, 6 and 2/10. And then if I do Texas strategy, TX 62/10, that's a rational number. So that's no good. 1.2 rational, 0.4 rational. Now these are good. These are rational also. These are rational. So there's nothing wrong with these. Check, check, check. The problem is these. They should have been like -4 with no pieces, -1 with no pieces, -12 with no pieces, -8. All those are integers. Now do know that the wholes are also integers. And we'll go over more on Monday. Let's look at this guy. Wholes, integers, rational. Horrible, horrible, horrible. They're in the wrong place. These should have been inside. This one should have been outside. Now these are rational, rational, rational. Okay, but these messed up quickly, and these are also in the wrong place. Let's look at this guy. Wholes, integers, rational. 18 positive, good. 47 positive, good. -2, out. Wholes, integers, rational. +9, good. +63, good. +212, good. The wholes are good. -6, -178, -19. The integers are good. 8/10 falls between 0 and 1. That's a rational. 0.75 falls between 0 and 1. That's a rational. -6.1 falls between -6 and -7. That's a rational. It has pieces, pieces, pieces. Rational. The answer is D. That's how easy these are, guys. Okay, when you're just trying to see which Venn diagram is correctly labeled, that's all you're doing. Okay. Now the first Venn diagram that they did, it's a little bit more complicated, but I'm gonna show you what I would do. So this is a triple Venn diagram, but I would do my Venn diagram again the way I know it. Wholes, integers, rational. And I would get all the numbers that belong in the wholes. So 5 would go here, 307 would go in here, 0 would go in here. That's it. In the integers, -7 would go in there. And that's it. Oh, -5,673, that's also complete, it's not pieces. That's in the integers. In the rational world, 1/7, 1.75, and that's it. Okay. Now, how do you read this guy? Well, let's start with rationals. Because rationals, you can only be a rational. Right now in 6th grade, we start with rationals. So if we look at this circle represents the what? It represents the wholes. Is -7 a whole? No. That's why he's already wrong. Now 5, he's a whole, but he's also an integer, so that's good. He's in the integers. But he should also be in the rational. This is the rational one. On the bottom it says rational. I believe. Yeah, you see. So anyway, just by the -7 being in the wholes, it's already messed up. Okay. Choice B. It's the same numbers. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to check my Venn diagram. In the rational world, we should have 1.75 and 1/7. So in the rational world, we should have 1/7, which is due, and we should have 1.75, and it's over here in the wrong place over there with the integers. That's why that one is wrong. Now, 1/7, 1.75, good, it's in the rational. In the integers, we should have -7 and -5,673. In the integers, we should have -7, which is there, and -5,633. It's in the rational only. He should have been inside over here also, because he's an integer and a rational. That's why that one is done. And so on. Okay, that's the way you do these. Okay, a little bit tougher, but they're not that bad. Okay, let me go to this problem I created here in ChatGPT quickly. Okay, so this one, just so you know, when you have an x equals 7, I can put, instead of having the x by itself, I'm going to put them here. So what's 7? You see it says that x is 7. So what's 7 plus 5? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 does not equal 20. So that's why that one is dumb. A number next to a letter means multiply. So 4 times who? X is 7. What's 4 times 7? 28. Yep, it matches this. So letter B looks good. The next one, x is 7. What's 7 minus 2? 5. That's not the answer. Now the next one, 3, a number next to a variable means multiply. 3 times 7 is 21, and this is 10. Okay? So let's see what ChatGPT tells us. Yes, let's give us the answer. He might do set M on all the choices, but I would just substitute this. He's still thinking or something. He's thinking. Let me tell him to create another problem so we can practice one more. Create another similar problem. So I know we'll come back to that. The last thing I'm going to talk about is paying for college. Well, this guy thinks about it. He's still thinking. No, everybody's thinking. Okay, here we go, paying for college. When you go to college, you'll have sometimes, I'm not going to go over this problem, so I'm going to talk about college. Okay, so when I go to college, I can pay for college with what is called work study. Now, work study is that you go work, and with the money that you make working, you can pay for your college. This one, you don't have to pay it back because it's really your money. You're working for the money to pay for college. That is called work study, which is what they're talking about here. You do not have to pay it back. Okay? So that's one way to pay for college. Another way to pay for college would be Pell Grants. Grants, the government gives you the money to pay for your college. And again, you don't have to pay it back. So this one, you don't have to pay it back. You don't have to pay it back. This one, because you're working for it. This one, it's a grant. They're giving it to you. You do not have to pay it back. You do have to maintain good grades, probably like B's. If not, you lose your grant. Then we have something called scholarships, which is probably what most of you are familiar. This is also funds that they give you, okay, for doing great in high school and middle school, or taking those courses from college already. So if you have good grades, they pay for your college. You do not have to pay back this one either. It's a scholarship, uh, usually from a private institute or an organization that wants to help you because you have worked hard. You get a scholarship. You don't have to pay it back. Grant is from the federal government giving you money to pay for college. You don't have to pay it back. Both of these require good grades. Work study, you're working at a place there in the college, maybe helping in the library, helping somewhere there, and you maybe being a tutor, and they'll give you money so you can pay for your college. The last way, these are the most popular ways, is a student loan. Just like I say, it's a loan. With a loan, you will borrow the money from a bank and you will have to pay it back with interest. So this one you do have to pay back. This one you have to pay back, and probably with interest. That means you're gonna pay more than what you borrow. So this is the worst one that you wanna use. You either work and study at the same time, and with that money you pay, you will apply for grants, or you get a scholarship for good grades. Another one that I forgot is you can also start a savings account. On your bank, you do your savings. You don't have to pay it back because it's your money. You've been saving. Okay. This one is talking about work study. So it says it provides grants to students who promise to complete internships in local or state government. It distributes grants to students so they do not have to work while they are going to college. It provides funds to eligible students for part-time employment to help finance their education. You see, there it is. You have to get employed. You're going to be working part-time more than likely so you can pay. Finance means pay for the education of your college. So it's going to be C. In this case, because it's the one that I said work study, you don't have to pay back. You're working for it. This one is FAFSA. That's the one that you apply so you can see what you qualify for. So that one is going to allow you to know if you're going to get a grant that you don't have to pay back. You're going to do work study. It doesn't help you with scholarships because scholarships is based on good grades. But it also can help you with loans. Now, from those three, this is the only one that you have to pay back. A loan, that's why it's called a loan, un préstamo. Okay. Loan, you have to pay back. Grant, this is wrong. You don't have to pay it back. That's with interest. No, that would be the loan. So statement B is describing the loan. Statement okay, the grant is for more money than the loan. No, the loan you will have to be paid back most likely. This is the best answer in this case. The loan you have to pay back, guys. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so savings, you save money, you don't pay it back. Work study, you will go work in employment in the college to pay. You don't have to pay it back because you're working for it. You're saving it. Grants, the government is giving you grants after you apply for that FAFSA. He'll give you a grant, a Pell Grant to help you play based on your grades too. You keep it or they take it away, but at least you don't have to pay it back. Scholarships, that's happened since high school. That's when you start applying for scholarships, especially your junior year, senior year for sure. If you have real good grades, you've been helping the community, you're gonna get a scholarship. They'll pay for your college, and you don't have to pay back. The only one we have to pay back is the student loan. The loans we have to pay back, and more than likely with interest, which is this statement here. A loan will have to be paid back, most likely with interest. Okay. Let's see if ChatGPT was able to create a new problem. No, hombre. And that's why I told you don't trust. Don't always trust AI, right? Anyway, but that's the way you solve these. No, the ones that I just went over, you solve them that way. And now we even lost what I went over. Okay, hopefully it's that one. There we go. So I'm gonna go over it one more time. Basically, since x equals 7, since x equals 7, I'm going to change the x for a 7, and I'm going to start calculating. 7 plus 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 7 plus 5 is 12, so this is wrong. A number next to a letter, a number next to a variable means multiply. So 4 times x, which x is what? 7. So 4 times 7 would be 28. Correct. X 7 minus 2 would be 5. Wrong. Number next to a letter, 3 times 7 would be 21. This is 10. Wrong. The answer would be B in this case because 4 times 7 is 28. Okay? Hombre, ya no quiso. But at least we were able to practice one. Okay, so that's it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Fantastic math.